In this video, we're going to be exploring 8 thrilling places in Southern Alberta that aren't in Banff. There's numerous World Heritage sites in Alberta. We're going to visit some. Many of these places are not that well known, but all of them are thrilling. So let's begin. The first stop is Dinosaur Provincial Park. This place is located about 30 minutes north of Brooks, Alberta. It's world famous for its dinosaur bone finds. Over 40 different kinds of dinosaur bones have been discovered here. There's a visitor center and a cafe during summer in some of the peak season. Some of the park is closed off to visitors to preserve the heritage. But there's about 6 to 8 kilometers worth of trails that you can walk around. And in the summer of 2023, they were expanding the trail system. You can get up close and personal to all the Badlands. There are some wildlife here, including rattlesnakes, but you probably won't see one. If you don't like rattlesnakes, go before Mother's Day or after Canadian Thanksgiving. There's a 3-kilometer dirt road through the park, so you can also just do a driving tour. And from what I understand, this place has outstanding camping facilities. I was here in fall, and most of the camping spots were available. It can get very hot here in summer. Dinosaur Provincial Park also happens to be my favorite place for doing night photography in Alberta. There is no fee to enter the park, and it's all paved roads to get here. The next stop is Waterton National Park. It's located in southern Alberta along the Montana border. One of the more famous buildings here is the Prince of Wales Hotel. It sits on top of the hill overlooking the lake. In Waterton, there's a lot of boating activities. And there's a whole bunch of hiking. In fact, you can hike all the way to Glacier National Park in Montana if you wanted to. They do have a border crossing on the trail. And within the Waterton town site, there is a waterfall. It's right off the parking lot. And if you want to get on the highway and drive about 20 minutes, you can get to Lake Cameron. This is Waterton's version of Moraine Lake. I'm here in summer and it's not that packed. You can rent boats here or go hiking. Waterton National Park truly is a gem in southern Alberta. Parks Canada does charge a fee to enter the park. The next stop is Red Rock Canyon. This is technically part of Waterton National Park, but so few people know it exists that I gave it its own section. There's this creek that goes to the mountains, and it's surrounded by this vibrant red rock. It's only about 1.5 kilometers to walk all the way across the canyon and back, but I think this place is absolutely fascinating, and it's a paved road the whole way. And Red Rock Canyon is only a few feet away from the parking lot. Any skill level can enjoy this place. And if you want to walk another 2 or 3 kilometers round trip, you can go visit another waterfall. They've recently upgraded this place to make a better viewing area. The next stop is Writing on Stone Provincial Park. This place is very important in the Blackfoot Confederacy. A lot of cultural and spiritual ceremonies were held here. And it got its name, writing on stone, because of the petroglyphs they wrote on the wall here that you can actually go see. It's all paved roads to get here. There isn't a fee to enter the park. And I would estimate there's about 6 to 8 kilometers worth of hiking you can do here. Some of the park is closed off to the public. And of course there's rattlesnakes here too. But you probably won't ever see one. This park is absolutely surreal. You're going to be walking through these hoodoos. And thousands of years of wind has created some really interesting shapes. This place is a World Heritage Site, and most visitors can see everything in one day or maybe 2 days. They do have a visitor center and a cafe open in the summer months, and the camping here is exceptional. The next stop is the Crowsnest Pass. This is in the very southwest part of the province and it borders the province of BC. It's also where you can find the Frank Slide. About 100 years ago, a big chunk of that mountain fell onto the town of Frank. It's still buried under all those rocks. And there's a bunch of mining towns through Crowsnest Pass, all of which have a bunch of unique shops and buildings. And even in the summer months, it's not really all that busy compared to Banff. You can do fishing, hiking, and camping all throughout the Crowsnest Pass. There's a whole bunch of smaller parks around here too. And because all of these towns are mining towns, there's a whole bunch of museums and exhibits preserving the mining history. There's even some abandoned mines, a couple of which offer tours so you can go inside of them. And once you're here, you're not that far away from a couple of the other places like Writing on Stone and Waterton National Park. And on your way into Crowsnest Pass, you can see the famous Burmese tree. And also you can stop by at Lumbreck Waterfalls. There's no hiking required here. These falls are just a few feet away from the parking lot. And it's just off Highway 3. The next stop is Drumheller, Alberta. This is not just a city, it's a region, and it's right in the heart of the Badlands. The more popular spot here is Horseshoe Canyon. It takes about half a kilometer to walk into the canyon. But then you can get up close and personal to all the Badlands. And there's no snakes here. You may see some other wildlife. If you're a dinosaur enthusiast, the whole town is filled with a bunch of dinosaur-related museums and exhibits. And then there's Hoodoo's Trail, probably the most famous part of Drumheller. It's just outside of town, there's no admission fee and plenty of parking. And they've made it easy for people to walk around to explore this area. But you're not just restricted to the official area. You're welcome to get up and explore most of this area. Some people have even climbed up to the very top of the valley. Drumheller Valley also has a few ghost towns like Dorothy, Frank, and the East Coulee Mine. And just north of town is Horse Thief Canyon. A lot of people don't know about this place. Most of it is on private property, but there are plenty of spots here that you can get out and walk around. And don't forget to stop into the city. They have a whole bunch of these dinosaur statues, great shopping, and even more museums and exhibits. The next stop is Rock Coulee. This is my favorite Badlands in all of Alberta. It is pretty remote. It's about 30 minutes south of Medicine Hat, Alberta. The only services here is a picnic table and a parking lot, nothing else. They've got hundreds of these massive red boulders and a little bit of Badlands. You're free to pretty much explore the whole valley. And some of these rocks are taller than me. I'm 6'3". And they're pretty much everywhere. There's not very many well-defined trails, but you don't really need it here. And most people can visit at least part of this park without much effort. It's highly recommended you don't visit this park while it's raining or when it just finished raining. When it's wet, it's very slippery and it's difficult to walk. And if you feel like walking another 1.5 kilometers into the valley, you can see some amazing Badlands. I've been here many times and I've never seen another person in this part of the park. I have seen a couple rattlesnakes here though, so if you don't like snakes, don't come during summer. The next place we're going to visit is Kananaskis Park. It's actually a collection of a whole bunch of provincial parks west of Calgary in the mountains. And it's got most of the same features as Banff, including waterfalls. And you're going to see some wildlife. I've seen more grizzly bears in Kananaskis than I've ever seen in Banff. In the summer months, they open up the Highland Pass. That's a paved road that goes right through the heart of Kananaskis. And along this highway, there's a bunch of smaller parks. Like this one. This is Lower Kananaskis Lake. I'm here on a beautiful day in September, and there's nobody here. Except for a person trying to get their boat in the water. Then I went to Upper Kananaskis Lake. Same thing. There wasn't anybody here except for one guy fishing. A lot of people who live in Southern Alberta prefer doing hiking in Kananaskis because there's less people and the views are just as stunning as Banff. I've never had any trouble getting a parking spot except when you go to the Highland Trail. It's a famous trail in Kananaskis, but it's almost impossible to get parking there. Wedge Pond is one of my favorite places for picnics, and I also like going to Mount Lorette Ponds. This is about a 2-kilometer hike around the ponds, and the trail is paved and very well maintained. Some other parks in Kananaskis that people like to visit would be Peter Lougheed Park, Jura Canyon, and Grassy Lakes. I'll put a link to the Kananaskis website in the description below so you could check out all the different places you can visit. And there's even a Kananaskis village where there's services and hotels. There is a fee to enter this park. At every entrance point, they'll provide you with instructions on how to pay for a pass, and there are kiosks. And here are some bonus places to visit. Cypress Hills is in the southeast part of the province, and it shares a park with Saskatchewan. It's like Banff without the mountains or the tourists. There's lots of hiking, lots of wildlife, and a lot of people also bring their boat. I was here on a nice September day, and it was pretty much dead. There is a town that has all the services as well, including hotels. The next stop is the happiest place in Alberta, the Birds of Prey Sanctuary in Coaldale, Alberta. They have all sorts of birds for you to come and check out here. But for me, what makes this place special is that for $6, you get a great big bag of duck food. My goodness, that was more fun than I expected. And in Moseley, Alberta, just southeast of Calgary, they offer train rides at the Aspen Crossing. I've never actually taken the train ride before, but I've seen the train go by a few times and people seem to enjoy it. They also have a massive campground and an event center. Star Trek fans may enjoy Vulcan, Alberta. All over town, you're going to find Star Trek stuff. And they have a great big visitor center with a whole bunch of products and gifts you can buy that's Star Trek related. And it looks like they recreated the Star Trek Enterprise. If there's something in this video that I missed, please leave it in the comment section below. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching.